working for you. Fox 2 News at 6 starts now.
Hello, everybody. We have a lot of news to get to in this 15 minutes, so we're going to jump right in. We're going to start here. Warren police are investigating a murder-suicide involving a mother and her special needs son. Welcome to the HD show. I'm Dave Spencer.
And I'm Hilary Golston. We appreciate you joining us on this Sunday. It is indeed a tragic story that we have to begin with. Police were called after reports of a domestic assault. Now, this happened after 8 this morning on Jeffrey Drive near 12 Mile and Shaner. Police say the 26-year-old called 911, saying that his mother had pointed a gun at him. He then ran to a neighbor's house for help. Multiple gunshot wounds. Gunshots were heard from inside the house when officers got there. Police say the mother shot her son before then turning the gun on herself. A tense situation ends in tragedy on the west side of Detroit after an armed suspect takes his own life.
A witness tells us he saw his neighbor in a truck trying to avoid being shot. Police were called to the scene on Wisconsin Street on Friday afternoon over reports of an armed man threatening to shoot other people. When confronted by police and ordered to put his gun down, the suspect then ran off. There was the sound then of a single gunshot. Police soon located the suspect, who they say shot himself. We're told this all started after a confrontation with the suspect and a neighbor.
I was laying in my bed and I heard a tremendous bang. Jumped up, looked out the window. My next door neighbor was coming across my lawn with her truck. Then I seen a guy who's in front of the truck just raise up, and he had like an automatic gun.
The gunman was rushed to the hospital but did not survive. It's not clear what led to the fight with the neighbor in the first place.
This is a horrific single-car crash that's left 2 women dead and a toddler injured in Waterford Township. Police were called to the scene on Jones Road near Hatchery Saturday afternoon. Police tell us the 42-year-old driver was speeding before crashing into a tree. Both the passenger and a 3-year-old girl were ejected from that vehicle. Police don't believe they were wearing seatbelts. The 3-year-old is expected, thankfully, to make a full recovery.
And a terrible discovery in the city of Wayne. A body is found in the Lower Rouge River. A kayaker spotted the decomposing body Wednesday night in the portion of the river near Pershing Street. The remains have not yet been identified. Officers are now searching through missing persons databases. Anyone with information as to who this might be is asked to call Wayne Police.
All right, sort of mixed results from one of the biggest marathons in our area that happens virtually every year. A Metro Detroit couple winning big at the Detroit Free Press Marathon. They were among thousands of runners participating in the 47th annual event.
But unfortunately, as Fox News' Ingrid Kelly reports, one of those runners had a medical emergency and died on the course.
That's Andrew Bowman coming in first place in the men's full marathon at Sunday's Detroit Free Press Marathon.
Those last 3 miles were murder.
But despite claiming a victory, his joy isn't complete just yet.
You can do it, baby, and I'm so proud of you.
Those words of encouragement are for his wife, Sydney DeVore, who was also running the full marathon. Bowman anxiously waited near the finish line for her, and a short time after he crossed, so did she, running into her husband's arms and coming in first place in the women's full marathon.
Now they are both champions of the Free Press Marathon.
The couple lives in Ferndale and support one another as they compete in marathons.
I doubted myself, he believed in me, and now we've done it. Our first marathon win together.
The winners of the half marathon were also celebrating.
And when I passed that 10-mile mark, I was just, feeling great. Knew I had it in the bag from there.
Just kicked it in, heard the cheers, and it was a blast out there.
But unfortunately, as many were celebrating, there was tragedy at this year's marathon.
Our condolences go out. We did have a death today. A 57-year-old male went down around mile 5 of the marathon. He was taken and transported to a local area hospital in Windsor, where unfortunately he was treated and was pronounced dead.
Officials say the safety of all participants is a top priority.
We work year-round to prepare for medical emergencies like this. And I want to just, first of all, thank the medical staff, the volunteers along the course. You know, they're there for these types of situations, these medical emergencies, and they did their job today.
In Detroit, Ingrid Kelly, Fox 2 News.
In Troy, a doctor pleads guilty to flashing several women inside Somerset Mall. 58-year-old Charles Yee is charged with 2 counts of indecent exposure. Police tell us Yee also followed young females into the mall, taking photos of them. Yee was a pathologist in Clarkston but has since retired. Lawyers for the Oxford school shooter running into a roadblock. They want the shooter's guilty plea thrown out, but they also have to act fast for a judge to consider this.
Judge Kwame Rowe is giving the Oakland County Prosecutor's Office 1 month to resubmit the proper paperwork. In June, the shooter's new lawyers turned in briefs requesting a new sentence. Now, they argue the young gunman didn't fully understand his decision to plead guilty. They also want the judge to go over some new evidence, claiming the shooter's mom struggled with alcohol abuse, especially when she was pregnant with him. The gunman's lawyers say that could have impacted his mental development. Another attorney we spoke with, not affiliated with the case, has this thought.
This is something that's new, and I believe it's supported by, it sounds to be credible witnesses. From a legal perspective, as lawyers, as judges, as prosecutors, we want to get this right.
And the judge says prosecutors violated court rules by submitting briefs longer than 20 pages. He's giving them until November 19th to get it right before anything in this case can move forward.
A man trusted with keeping kids safe is accused of having sex with a student at East Point High School. The suspect, 26-year-old Darian Webster, is now facing third-degree criminal sexual conduct charges. Bond was set at $150,000. A blockbuster shakeup at the Detroit Police Department.
Yeah, the city's top cop is moving on.
At this point, let me introduce the new director of the Detroit-Wayne Integrated Health Network, James White.
Chief James White is turning in his badge and title to become the CEO of the Detroit-Wayne Integrated Health Network. The organization is known for providing mental health services. White has served as Detroit's police chief since 2021. He also has a master's degree in mental health counseling and is a certified mental health advisor.
To this community, thank you for allowing me to be your chief for 3.5 years. It has been one of the highlights of my professional career.
And Mayor Duggan says Chief White is leaving some big shoes to fill, but the city is ready to transition quickly. He expects to name an interim chief by next week.
All right, Rich Ludeman joining us at the big table here to talk a little weather. Holy moly, is it
We're
nice
on a roll.
out there.
Oh
Mother Nature is just keeping on. You know,
I'll say.
For the marathon, for people doing backyard cleanups, watch football.
I was talking to Dave earlier about this. Like we were outside in the backyard, the trees, the leaves were falling, the colors were beautiful.
Remember these days.
Great.
Remember these days.
Wonderful.
You know, when it's mid-January.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
And we're walking around like this. You know, and I mean, I'm walking. I'm going to show you how cold it is out there in mid-January. It's like that.
It's cold.
Yeah. Exactly. It is great. High pressure is parked over the eastern half of the United States. There's our next storm system. It's spinning over the Four Corners. Eventually, that's going to drag a cold front through our area for Wednesday. But for tomorrow, for Tuesday, we are looking good. You can see just a few clouds up there in northern Michigan. Around here, mostly sunny skies. Looking good around Chicago, Indianapolis, Columbus, out to Buffalo and Niagara Falls. No problems. How about these daytime highs? Today for us in the middle 70s. Look at Milwaukee and Green Bay. They made it into the lower 80s. Look at Traverse City today. 79 degrees, 78 as far north as Alpena. Let's check some live pictures from Pellston. Beautiful colors up there as well. Numbers show it's in the lower 70s, but that's Lake Michigan right there in the background. Sure looks nice for Boy, the end of October, 75 and 41. Here are your averages. This is where we should be this time of October, 60 and 43. So this morning it was a bit on the cool side, close to average, but this afternoon we were not all that far from a record. There is the record for today, 80 degrees set way back in 1920. Right now, a lot of us still in the lower 70s. These numbers will, of course, fall off this evening. There has been a breeze around from the south and west, and it'll diminish after sunset. And then that breeze will pick up again tomorrow. But look at these numbers right now. Close to 80 for Chicago, Cedar Rapids. There's Minneapolis right now. 81 degrees. You would look at a map like this and say, well, it's September. But it's the end of October. Where are the cooler spots? Well off to our east. There's 64 for Buffalo, 64 up there in Montreal. For us, high pressure is parked down near Pittsburgh, and that's going to give us more great weather for tomorrow and Tuesday. Now, eventually Wednesday, we're going to see a cold front approach the area, and that'll bring a shower chance to the region. We could use some rain, and we really don't have a lot to show you in the 7-day forecast. For the rest of tonight, mostly clear skies, comfortable again. Overnight lows will dip down close to 50 degrees. In the outlying areas, you'll be getting down into the upper 40s. But tomorrow, even warmer than today. Lots of sunshine, a breeze in the afternoon. That's your Monday weather, 78 degrees for a high. And then here comes the 7-day. 75 on Tuesday. Now, there's our shower chance Wednesday with our next cold front, and it is going to be cooler on the backside of that front. Thursday high, 56. But once again, another mild end to the week. Look at Saturday, Sunday, the upcoming weekend, near 65 both days. Hilary, Dave, how about a full check tonight at 10 o'clock?
All right, thank you so much. Well, speaking of things heating up, certainly the campaign trail is one hot place these days. We only have 15 days to go until Election Day.
And as Mark Meredith reports, Vice President Kamala Harris enlists some star power to help her get out the vote in these closing weeks.
Vice President Harris spent Sunday campaigning in battleground Georgia, visiting a church in the Atlanta suburbs and striking a somber tone with the congregation.
What we do see are some who try to deepen division among us, spread hate, sow fear, and cause chaos. The true measure of the strength of a leader is based on who you lift up.
Harris is also relying on celebrities to generate some buzz on the trail. On Saturday, enlisting help from music artist Lizzo in Detroit and Usher in Atlanta.
It doesn't matter where you're from. She has a vision for our country that includes everyone.
In Pennsylvania, Trump supporter and billionaire businessman Elon Musk is generating both curiosity and concern by vowing to give away $1 million to a registered voter in the state, chosen at random for those who sign a petition by Musk's pro-Trump PAC. The state's governor says it may not be legal.
I think there are real questions with how he is spending money in this race, how the dark money is flowing.
Former President Trump spent his Sunday showing off his culinary skills. Trump working a fry cooker and serving customers at a McDonald's near Philadelphia.
Grab one while it's really hot. See if you can touch that sucker. I don't think so.
It was a direct attack against Vice President Harris, who repeatedly talks about her time working for McDonald's in the 1980s, and it's a claim Trump openly doubts.
She talked about the heat. It was so tough. She never worked at McDonald's. McDonald's just confirmed that again, by the way. She never worked at McDonald's.
Both candidates are back on the trail this week, visiting multiple battleground states. The vice president will be here in Pennsylvania on Monday. Former President Trump is getting ready for a swing down south in Georgia and North Carolina. In Lancaster, Pennsylvania, Mark Meredith, Fox 2 News.
Okay, we're going to stick with some political news. Former President Barack Obama will hit the campaign trail in Detroit on Tuesday. Obama will, of course, be rallying voters to cast their ballots as millions take part in early voting all across our battleground state. The exact location at this point is still unclear.
And Vice President Kamala Harris will be back in our key battleground state on Monday. Harris will be speaking at a campaign event with former Republican U.S. Representative Liz Cheney. The Harris campaign announced that Harris will hold a series of moderated conversations with Cheney. They plan to lay out the Harris agenda that focuses on voter needs and not the division and chaos, their words, of former President Donald Trump. Now, according to a recent poll, the majority of Americans are experiencing election fatigue.
Yeah, every 4 years it happens around this time, right? There's enough political ads. 67% of the 3,000 people surveyed say they can't wait until the presidential election. It's just over. 12% aren't sure how they feel about it, and 21% enjoy it, wishing the election season was longer. I might fall into that category. In case you're wondering, the number of people who are loving election season is even among Democrats and Republicans.
If you don't have a ride to the polls on Election Day, a couple of ride-sharing companies are trying to make it easier for you. We're talking Lyft and Uber, offering 50% off rides to polls on Election Day. For Lyft users, you could use the code VOTE24 on or before November 5th. Uber drivers can get half off on $10. They'll just have to go to the Go Vote title in the app. That is going to do it for us. Make sure you stay right here, and we'll see you at 10.
See you later tonight at 10. Have a good evening till then. Bye-bye.